Hey, welcome to Lush Haircare. Look at all of this. Look at that. Look at how much there is. There's literally something for everyone. Shampoos, hair treatments, even ones on a stick. All different kinds of conditioners. Henna hair dye. Stuff for styling. A rainbow of shampoo bars. I admit it can be a little bit overwhelming. Yeah, okay, there's also the press conditioner. So you got everything. There's big, there's also gold cup. That's really nice. But that's okay, don't worry. Your good buddy Erica is here. I'm gonna walk you through it. I'm gonna show you some stuff that'll be perfect for you. Your new routine awaits. Oh, I didn't even get to the fresh scalp masks. Hey, it's Erica. We're going to talk a little bit today about hair care and finding the right thing for you. So we have a team of hairstylists and trichologists that are making the best products and a little bit of something for everybody. But hair is very different from person to person, and what you might want out of it or need out of it is very different from person to person too. When it comes to skincare, most people have the same aims. They want smooth, clear, fresh skin, right? When it comes to hair care, it could be very different, and that's more fashion than anything else, more of a form of self-expression. So you might be treating your hair really roughly. You might be trying to make it do things it doesn't naturally want to do, and that's totally awesome. We're here to help with that too, but we also want to keep your condition and your health in mind as well. So what we're going to talk about today is, what is your hair? What are some of the different factors that contribute to what your hair is and what you love about your hair, but then also what your hair might need and how to achieve what you want for your hair. All right, let's get into it. We're gonna start with what may seem like a silly question. What is hair? Hair is made of keratin. This is the same stuff that your nails are made out of, or if you happen to have hooves or horns, no judgments there either, it's the same stuff. The hair that is coming out of your head is 3 basic layers. Inside, there's the medulla, which is, sometimes it's not even present in really fine hairs, but it's primarily there for structure. Then wrapping around that, we have something called the cortex, which is responsible for your hair's color and your hair's shape. And then wrapping around the outside of that, imagine kind of like shingles on a house, is the cuticle. So this is the one that is really primarily for shine and kind of the healthy look of your hair. One thing that people often jump right into is, what's my hair type? You'll probably find that we actually don't talk a ton about that at Lush. We think more about what our hair needs, what we want for it, and just like, what is it like? And so let's talk a little bit more about that. There's a few different factors that can contribute to that. The first one is your hair's shape. So is your hair naturally straight? Is it naturally wavy? Is it naturally curly? Or is it naturally coily? So there's actually a scale out there from 1 to 4 that can describe that spectrum and all the ones in between. And that can really affect how your hair accepts a style or holds a style, how well it handles moisture, humidity, all kinds of things can be built into that. So there's a lot of things that can be naturally inherent in your hair shape. The next one is texture. So do you have fine hair or do you have coarse hair? This might also be different in different parts of your head as well. But a fine hair, you're just barely gonna feel it if you touch it, whereas a coarser hair is gonna feel a little coarser. That's why they call it coarse. So it might feel like a little bit more wiry. We also have the density of your hair. Do you have thinner hair or do you have thicker hair? This is really about the number of hairs on your head. So if you have fine and yet thick hair, that means that you might have very tiny little individual hairs, but you have a ton of them. That's kind of like a genetically Scandinavian thing, almost like down, so to speak, keep your head warm. You might have quite coarse hair, but it's thin. You don't have a ton of it. So there's going to be a whole range that goes all in between and mix and match it all up. There's also porosity of hair. So if your hair is porous or not can definitely affect how your hair holds on to humidity, how it can retain or take in moisture, which can affect how your hair works kind of throughout the day or throughout the week. The last one that we can take into account is scalp moisture. So a lot of times people jump right to this. If you're just like, what's your hair type? They'll say it's oily, and they're talking about their scalp. So we have oil glands. pretty much on all parts of our body, almost, but especially on our heads. And that's going to produce the oil that helps the hair follicle to actually exit the scalp and grow. And it also is going to help to keep the hair in good supple condition. So when we're thinking about that, we don't want it to be too far on either direction of the spectrum. We want a nice balanced place. So that's kind of what most people are aiming for. Let's dig a little deeper into some of those and talk specifically about texture and density and shape, especially shape. That is, to me, a really, really important one that's going to affect a lot of things. It actually starts with your hair follicle, so how the hair comes out of the head. It's all about the shape of it. If your hair follicle is round, imagine a clay extruder, okay? So if you're imagining clay coming out of this round shape, it just comes straight out and you have a straight shape. Once it starts getting a little flatter and even kind of developing a little bit of a curve, it will come with this little bit of a curve to it and will start to curl in on itself. So the more flat and then curvy it is, the curlier it's going to get. I say spaghetti, linguine, fettuccine, a jelly beanie. I never thought that would go public. Okay, what does pasta and jelly beans have to do with your hair shape? So when your hair is taking on a certain shape, that means that it's going to affect the volume of your hair. Of course, also like the density and the thickness of your hair is going to change that as well. But if your hair is stock straight, it's all going to be laying right next to each other. Whereas if your hair is curly, it's going to be taking up a lot more space per hair. So the volume is going to increase kind of exponentially. That also means that the sebum production or your oil production is going to be taken on differently by the different shapes of hair. If you have very straight hair, or shape 1 hair, as some people call it, that means that the oil can just run right down it quite quickly. That might mean that it might be a little more difficult to hold a style. It might mean that your hair might feel a little greasy, a little faster. These people tend to wash their hair a little more frequently to kind of help counterbalance that. As your hair gets a little more curly, it needs more moisture. And that's partly because of that cuticle. Remember those shingles on the house I was telling you about? If they're going around a curve, they start to kind of fan out like this a little bit. So each one of these places is a place where moisture can escape the hair, or on like a humid day, moisture can enter the hair, making it swell up. So this is much more prone to moisture loss and moisture retention, I guess you could say. So for that kind of hair, the sebum production is going down the hair very slowly, and there's just that kind of chance for it to kind of just get lost all along the way. So the need for moisture and like sealing up that cuticle is a lot more prevalent, the need to do that as your hair gets more and more curly. The last one we'll talk about is porosity. So your hair may naturally be more or less porous, and this means that it's more prone to pull in or retain moisture or not. This can also happen through just wear and tear of the hair, so it tends to be more porous on the ends, generally speaking, because it's had more time hanging out in the real world than the hair that's closer to your scalp. Again, genetically speaking, your hair could be more or less porous, and as time goes by, it will become more porous. When we have that, we might want to rebuild some of that with some strengthening protein, things like hydrolyzed wheat protein, things like sweet potato, aquafaba, which is chickpea water. Those can all add protein to the hair to give it a bit more structure. Or we may want to be adding moisture to help kind of condition the hair to make it more supple. Okay. Maybe we know our hair a little bit better now. So if I may, I would love to offer a few routines that you might want to try if you want to enhance some of the things that you already love about your hair. If we're looking to hydrate our hair, I would definitely start off with a hair treatment. Pretty much any one of them will do. It's all going to add a lot of moisture and strength to the hair. My personal favorite though is Jasmine and Henna. This one is made with Brazil nut oil, hemp oil, coconut oil, and this is all going to help give a lot of hydration and nourishment to the hair. After that, you would wash up. I would probably do something like Fairly Traded honey. This bottle is actually half honey. Half this bottle is a Zambian honey, and that's going to help to lock moisture in the hair. One of the best ways to keep your skin and your hair moisturized is to keep moisture from escaping, and this will definitely help with that. Lastly, let's try Power. This one is quite rich. It also has a little bit of sweet potato puree and wheat protein in addition to some almond oil and olive oil, which is really going to give, again, that strength and nourishment and the moisture that you're seeking. So that's just one idea that you could do to hydrate your hair. If you really want to lock it in though, there's actually a little 3-step system that we have. I'm going to have my friend Jasmine tell us more about it.
Thanks, Erica. Hi, everyone. My name's Jasmine, and lucky for you, you get to hang out with me while I talk about some of my favorite products. So you might have heard of a method called the LOC Method. What it is, you have a liquid, you have an oil, and you have a cream. So it helps with textured hair, it helps with curly hair. It's if you're on the go, you're wash and go. It works beautifully, and I will say, you don't have to do the LOC, you could do the COL, you could do the OCL. I don't know how many more I can talk about, but it's up to you. Whatever works for you. It's just making sure that we're hydrating and moisturizing, taking care of our scalp, and making sure our hair is at its very best. So first, I'm going to talk about the liquid, which is Super Milk. There's kind of 2 ways that I would use this. Well, first we need to smell it, obviously. Ugh. So you can put this like directly onto your hair if you're just trying to freshen up. What I would do is usually pour a little bit into my spray bottle as I'm refreshing my braids, and then kind of like spritz it so it's not so condensed, but you'll still get the smell and the look and the feel, and you'll smell fabulous. After Super Milk, we have the oil. So Renee Shea Soufflé. This one is, I'm gonna give props to Sarah Sango, who is the creator of all of these lovely products. This reminds me of my kitchen, which is also like what was inspired by her in her kitchen and doing your hair with your family at home on a Sunday. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. And you'll smell Renee Shea Soufflé and just, you'll go right back in time. So put this on your edges. I put on my edges at night, put my scarf on, go to bed, and you're like silky smooth. You can do it kind of like to twist at the top here. So if you put a little bit and then twist up here, you'll get that. It's great for hydrating your scalp. Also, hot tip, if you use this to take out your braids, sometimes you'll get build up here when you're taking out your braids. And so that loosens it all up and then allows you to like comb it all out. I don't know how many people talk about that, but it happens. It's here. Use it. It's your friend. Last but not least, we have Curl Power, which is the cream of the LOC Method. So this smells like avocado co-wash, and if you know what that smells like, you get it. It's quite thick, so this isn't something that I would use if my hair was dry. I would make sure that my hair was wet out of the shower, whatever it is, and just kind of rake it through. It'll add kind of that, like, lock everything in. Get it? We just completed the LOC Method. So it all locks all in, and you'll notice that you'll just get your curls will just start to curl, and you'll just have your curl friends saying your hair looks phenomenal. So these are all my favorite products. Thanks for hanging with me. Back to you, Erica.
Thanks, Jasmine. So continuing on, just want to touch on the ingredients really quickly. Let me just point out some of the great things in Super Milk. It's called Super Milk because it has a trifecta of plant-based milks. So there's almond milk, coconut milk, and oat milk in here. Each one of these is going to add a water-based hydration to the hair. So it's going to give you that hint of oil in there, like with an oat or an almond, but you're going to really start to pull in the moisture into the hair with those plant-based milks and some lemon juice for shine. Then in Renee Shea Soufflé, you can probably guess that the main ingredient in here is shea butter. This one also has some coconut oil, avocado oil, castor oil. The list really goes on and on here, but that's going to make a really nice kind of like melty, slick oil on the hands or the fingertips to massage into the hair or throughout. That is what's going to give you that oil-based condition to the hair. And then to lock it in and kind of seal it, that's where we're using Curl Power. So this is the cream part of the LOC. And in this one, starts off with a linseed gel. That's like flax seeds in water. It creates this kind of like aloe vera kind of a texture to really hydrate the hair. And then in terms of some of the oils, we have that fair trade organic cocoa butter, coconut butter, jojoba oil. So these are all really going to lock it in, literally. If you are looking for big hair, we're going to reach for big. So people who want volume, maybe they want sexy tousled beach waves, or they're kind of trying to promote a bit of lift in the back, whatever you're trying to do, Who doesn't want a little bit more volume? So we're reaching for things like sea salt and seaweed, which is a really nice lightweight hydration for the hair. Big has both of those. The sea salt in this is actually going to help give you that beachy texture that you're looking for, but it's got a little bit of coconut oil and that seaweed in there to still keep it really nice and soft and in good condition. Let's follow it up with some Veganese. This one also has seaweed in there, as well as some lemon for shine, and rosemary and lavender is going to keep the scalp nice and balanced. It just kind of keeps everything light. And then we're going to finish it off to kind of keep it going all day long with some sea spray. This one is what you need when you want to get that sexy beach tousled hair. And so you're just going to kind of spritz this in. Again, has a little bit of that seaweed in there as well. So it's going to keep the hair still nice and hydrated and soft, but big. If we're looking for shiny hair, and who isn't, the main thing that you want to do is actually to seal the cuticle. Things like some fresh fruit juices can help with that, as well as things that are going to build the strength of the hair. So it may not sound like they go together, but strength and shine actually do go really well together. So let's talk about it. I would recommend Rehab. This is really lovely because it has fresh fruit juices in there, which is going to help directly with the shine, but it also has some really lovely vegetable oils in there, olive oil, almond oil, and those are going to help to make the hair really nice and strong, and again, let that cuticle lay flat. I would also recommend this is kind of my personal routine actually, violet cream. Oh, violet cream. This is one of my absolute favorite hair care products that we have. The thing that really jumps out to me is the lemon juice. This is going to give you a kapow of shine. It also has some potato pulp in there, which can help to strengthen the hair. It's going to add a little bit of structure and kind of seal that cuticle down to give you that light reflection that you're looking for. Don't be put off by the color. If your hair is gray, silver, white, blonde, it will help with any brassy tones as a bit of color correction. But if your hair is dark like mine, it's not going to change the hair color. It's just going to make it smell delicious and feel really good. And then lastly, I would probably recommend something like Super Milk, which is all going to make the hair really supple and bring that moisture in, bring that cuticle down, along with, again, lemon juice. Sometimes we get questions about hard water and soft water. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you probably don't really have either one, so don't worry about it. But for those who live maybe out in the country or have a different kind of water system, you might be feeling the effects of hard water or soft water in your hair, and probably on your skin too. If you are in a hard water area, your hair and your skin probably feel a little dry, your hair might feel a little bit brittle, and so you need to be seeking some extra moisture to kind of make up for that. Now, if you have soft water, or this is the tricky bit, if you naturally have hard water and you use a water softener and you can like really feel it in the water, you have soft water. And so what that feels like is like if you've washed up, maybe you're like in a hotel in another place, you can probably feel it. You're like washing up with the soap and you just feel like you can't get it off and you're just like rinsing and rinsing and rinsing. That is what soft water kind of feels like. So with that, I would say that the hair tends to hold on to product a little more. The product buildup can happen a lot more and your hair can be a little bit lank or a little bit limp. So I would say for that, you might want to look for ingredients that are going to be a little more like volumizing or clarifying, and that's going to help out. See, that wasn't so hard. Now you know everything. You know exactly what you need. But just in case you don't, I know we had a good talk, but in case you need some more information, that's totally cool. You can come into a shop and have someone like Luna here help you out. You can also give us a call at customer care. You can chat with us on the app or the website, and we will be happy to find your perfect hair care journey.